Okay, seems like it's working. Making sure I'm not screwing myself over here. Alrighty. It's hidden. Cool. Hope it didn't show that. Um, yeah, so let's go ahead. How do I... Stream URL, that's still hidden. Cool. Why is it not giving me... I hope I'm not screwing myself over with this. Sorry, I'm new to this. What? No. There we go. Jeez. Man, you'd think I'm like 50 with how I'm doing this. There we go. Okay, so hello everybody. I just received some very worrying news. I'm not gonna lie. So this morning, yeah, 7 a.m. this morning, they released a huge, or sorry, no, that was yesterday. That's the wrong thing. Nope, that's not it. There we go. Oh, it still is 7 a.m. this morning. They released a very, very, very big information drop on a whole lot of stuff. And I am going to get to that in a second. But first, I would like to cover everything else. Because it, I think, deserves some... Because I just want to cover basically what the whole entirety of update 26 will be. Because there are some possibly great, fun things, good things, and then there's going to be some really, really bad things. I would like to preface this little rant I'm going to go on, because it's definitely not scripted. I'd like to preface this little rant I'm going to go on first by saying that, yes, I am a whale. Just to show that I am a whale. Yeah, there we go. And this is being taken on the 9th of July. So do with that what you will. But with that being said, I actually do want to stay in this section. I believe I want to stay right here. This should be good enough. So with that being said, though, let's start with kind of the first thing that they really dropped, which is the Archer talents. Okay, so I would like to preface this by saying I actually am happy that they're adding talents to Archer and Sentry, as well as adjusting and changing a lot of the old epic, rare, and common units, as I think it's really nice to make kind of the earlier game more healthy, and plus it kind of just adds more options to play around with, mess around with, and like check out the different kinds of decks you can do. And also it's just kind of fun. It spices up the big game. It makes it a bit more entertaining in my opinion, and it's always just kind of fun to try out. And overall, I like it. I got little to no qualms with it. And I do like most of the changes that they're doing with the lower level units and giving them more talents. I'm happy with that because I like there being an early game. The thing I wish for most is that they would actually make some of these lower units a bit more meta, so that you could actually reach some of these higher level trophy ranges with these weaker units. Like, because I've noticed, if you've ever played this game for a long amount of time, that skill is definitely a part. It's not just getting your account as high as possible. I am literally proof of that, that just because I have a high enough account doesn't mean, it does not mean, do I have some proof? Oh, there we go. It doesn't mean that you'll win every time. Look at this. Look at this difference right there. That's a good example. Here's a good example right here. I've just played all of these games bad. It was clearly a skill issue. Don't ask how I suck with Bard. I just suck with Bard, so I gotta learn how to play Bard, which is a shocking thing. I also, once again, here we go. Clearly should have won, but I lost because I did not know how to play this deck properly. Because unfortunately, my slow brain can't figure out how to play it. So that's not great. I can play Boreas though, fine. And here we go, another Boreas, there we go. So that's kind of proven that, skill is definitely a part of this. And it's not just luck or having a maxed out account with the most stats. Definitely skill is important. Or knowing what to do and when to do it. With that being said, let's go into the Archer talents. The Archer talents aren't anything too fancy. It's kind of just your classic, like adding some AoE, adding some special arrows, and then the last talent, I actually don't really know all the specificities, but it's just some nice little extra damages. It gave the same feel as Old Hunter, because Hunter's going to be upgraded, but it basically kind of gives a similar feel as the Old Hunter, where you can do some decent damage with it, and if you play it well, you could hit 1 billion quite easily, if you play it right and you have the right supports. But yeah, no, it's overall I'm pretty happy with these. I think it'll definitely make like going for Archer and upgrading the talents make it worthwhile and make it a decent DPS for because you can max it out pretty easily. And so it'll make it as a decent option, kind of similar to who else? I guess Grindstone and a low-level Boreas. Yeah. So I think it's pretty nice. It looks pretty fun to try. I'm definitely going to try it out. Hopefully I'll be able to stream it and see how that goes. But yeah, I gotta stop clicking on it. Jeez. And then next, they also have a bunch of new updates for Rogue and all the like. Honestly, I think the Rogue change will be a very interesting change, as it kind of gets rid of that crit damage, but it also, it leaves it for the Shinobi only. And then you also now get a bonus damage, which is instead of crit damage, it's now based on bonus damage, which I think is kind of silly, because like, I don't know, I thought it made Rogue good later late game where you could kind of make it quote unquote viable because it was based on your crit damage. So the better your account was, the better Rogue got, and then you could kind of have some fun games with that because it'd be basically like a bad legendary. But anyways, I like the changes they made to slug spikes, giant spikes, into sharp thorns, and then smoke bomb. They kind of just changed it up. It's nothing, I don't know, it's not, you can read it yourself if you're in the Rush Royale Discord. This is my own Apex family, shout out to them. And so they have the Rush Royale news section. I'm just going to kind of be brief because there's a lot to talk about. So if you want to read more into like talents that I skip over, anything I skip over, all the information is available in the Rush Royale Discord. And you can literally find it by just typing in Rush Royale Discord or going to your game. Nope, no thank you. Going to your game, and I believe going to community, and right here, Discord, go, right there. So if you ever want to check out the Discord, that's how you do it. You can do it on your phone or your computer. Anything works. But with that being said, I remember reading these talents a little bit earlier. I think overall it's a fine change. I think it's pretty cool. Nice little change. I like it. I'm not mad about it at all. Portal Keeper, this was mainly done just to make it so if you got like only Portal Keepers in whatever deck you're using that had Portal Keeper, he would be able to survive a bit longer and you could get more mana a bit more quickly. I don't really know what the mana power up is though, but if they plan to make Portal Keeper a DPS, I mean, I'm all for it. We'll see how that works. With Reaper, I am very glad that they kind of increased his damage as well as the mana power up bonus. I think that's going to be very, very nice. I also like all these changes. I'm going to 100% try this out, as I think I have all of them maxed. Yeah, except, shockingly, except mine and Clown. But yeah, I'll definitely be trying these all out in the future. I will also try out Priest DPS here soon and see what that's all about. With Hunter was just I think a nice, relatively speaking, nice change to the trophy earner, and you can now like get trophies instead of consistently, randomly, and consistent. So it just increases the number of trophies you get. And also, I like this 7% chance to fire an acorn at a random target. That's also very nice. I like that. I think that's a nice change, nice increase to damage, and will make Hunter a very good starter unit for a lot of free-to-play players as well as beginning players. It'd be a very nice card to go for. Engineer. There's a lot of changes to Engineer. I think for the most part, it is an improvement since we also now have area around the target. Oh, sorry. Base damage. So it deals 30% of the Engineer's base damage in an area around the target. This means Engineer now has area damage. Yippee! And for the most part, everything else kind of stays the same. They definitely changed the way that the parts work. The parts are, I think, relatively speaking, more consistent now. It'll definitely be a slightly different playstyle, but it will be a pretty nice change and a much welcome one, and will definitely spice up the way you play Engineer, and overall a good change. Sharpshooter. So if we go here, it says that headshot right here, 7% chance to deal an additional 500% damage, is now unlocked at the first ascension level. And explosive rounds are moved over to the 4th. So this right here is now the 4th, and this is the 1st. These two were flipped. I'm kind of fine with that, but not really. Just because the whole reason why you would ever use Sharpshooter was because of the explosive rounds. But it is nice now that you can kind of go ahead and just do crazy shooting, which makes it a nice area damage. So now it's kind of a bit more viable as a DPS, since it can make up for its max health targeting, which I think is a bit weird. And you also now, you can make use of this and this at the same time, which is quite nice. These being low is still stupid. These are some of the worst talents I've ever seen. Don't get me started on it. This, I don't even think works. I had a long discussion with myself. This is a thing for a different video. But anyways, so now, talking about the Sentry talents. I really liked the video for the Sentry talents. Watch the Sentry talent video, and it will kind of tell you what's going on there. I really like it. I think they made it very, very nice. I like the new spice up to the whole thing. Rip if you're versing Necromancer. If you're versing Necromancer with a Sentry, I don't know why. I don't think you ever would, so it's probably not a problem. But if you are, for some reason, you are screwed because of the way the new talents work. You are so screwed if you're versing Necro. You just got to give up instantly. It's not even worth it. But I really like this new Ballista thing that they added. Pretty cool. I like the guard posts and how they added basically the infinite damage increase, which I think is so funny that they would add an infinite damage increase thing for a rare card, but not freaking Boreas, who is a damage, but is only used in actuality, so when I say meta decks just from here, oh my goodness, when I say meta decks from here on, nope. I just mean anything in the top 100. So like the things that only have a chance to be seen in the top 100, okay, would be meta decks. And so like something like this right here is 100% being carried by these two guys, but that's a different story. 100% like something like this, like you could replace theoretically Summoner with Boreas, and Boreas would also do a great job at being a debuff guy. You know what I'm saying? Like you could replace him. That'd probably not work as great, but it could be done. And he's much better used as a toxic unit than a DPS unit. So I have my qualms with that. But With that being said, overall, I think the Sentry has a very fun update. I'm very much looking forward to trying that out. It's probably going to be the first thing I get before the Archer. It's going to be very cool. I'm excited. Now, items and enchantments. This is where we start running into some problems. Arguably major problems, but we'll talk about it. It's also, from this point forward, simply just my speculations based off of the given information. They have not done an official update log. They haven't given us any set in stone news, which is really annoying because they announced a lot of information that is game changing, completely game changing. And it's going to impact a lot of players and really set back a lot of players. One thing to note from this point forward, a lot of my anger is actually coming out from the fact that I am a whale. It is quite different. It's pretty bad. And yeah, being a whale, whales are definitely much more impacted. Basically, people who spend are definitely much more impacted than people who don't. People who don't are probably ecstatic because before they never really got enough legendaries in the first place, but now they can hard focus. You know, people who spend like basically for this the season pass. Okay, if you spend for just the season pass and then like a few other passes or maybe premium or something like that, then this update is going to be fantastic. But if you spend any more than just the season pass, you're screwed. This is going to be really detrimental. I think even for people who like would just get the season pass are probably distraught. They should be, in my opinion. But anyways, let's continue. So, new item, Amulet of Swiftness. Creates points on the player's field. Merging, absorbing, or increasing their rank at these points increases damage dealt by all units by 0.5%. Okay. Points move when damage increases or at the end of the wave. So, the first part, until that very last sentence, was great. The last sentence kind of ruins the amulet, in my opinion. Because a lot of decks, almost all of them rely on consistency. Almost all of them rely on that consistency. And so, when they have something like this, okay, you're like, oh, sweet, I can even absorb, I can just merge, or increasing their merge rank. But now, the points will just randomly move anyway, so you can't place a unit and hope it lands on that unit that you've now maxed out on your board. I know, Robot's toxic. I'm not going to talk about toxic because I don't play toxic, so I'm not going to talk about any toxic decks because I don't play it, and so I'm not going to pretend like I know how they work. I really don't. But I will talk about like Genie. I'll talk about Cultist. I'll talk about Bard because I know how all that stuff works. I'll talk about Riding Hood. I'll even talk about Boreas because why not? But like Cultist can't use this Amulet of Swiftness, okay, because it'll be too random. And it'll actually, well, arguably it could make use of it, but because it switches, it's just, I'll explain why I can. Let's actually go to this first. There we go. Buffing legendary amulets. Legendary amulets are guaranteed to receive a point in one of the field's 3 center tiles. So one of the 3 center tiles will always have 1 tile in it. And I assume that applies to the ever-changing Amulet of Swiftness. Now, Cultists, having 3 guys in the middle, will always have at least 1 guy with the effect applied. This it should be fine, theoretically. But I know it will be worse than the Amulet of Growth. I'll get to that in a second. But it might be better now, since it doesn't decrease in its percentage. It stays at the same percentage for every merge. And as long as it's better than the stationary tiles, then I think we're in a good position. But the tiles will just randomly move around the field. You don't have any control of where and when to max it. So something like Bard and something like Genie cannot really use Amulet of Swiftness because their placement isn't a set in stone one like Cultists. Instead, it's one that's arguably ever changing with 3 main stationary units that are not in the middle. And you actually preferably don't really have them in the middle in some cases. You know, you kind of want to have the middle open so you can place it, get 8 charges, and then merge it out. For Bard, a similar situation. You have them on, I mean, if you're playing Zeus, you don't really care. You know, you just place it on the tiles anyways, so you're just like hoping at that point. So actually, it might be better if you're running Zeus with this to have the Amulet of Swiftness. Which I don't know why they have it called Amulet of Swiftness, but then just increase damage dealt. It doesn't make any sense. But anyways. Then you have Genie, who, changing. And then this play style of Bard, which I'm still learning how to play. I think my top's 11 billion so far, which is really bad. But with this style of deck, you will definitely only have like 3 that you'll be leveling up, and then you'll slowly get more, and then it will just randomly change, and you have no control. And then sometimes all your bards will just have 0 damage output, or you have to place all your bards in the middle and hope for the best, which may be good. We'll see. And then Riding Hood, you just have to now have 3 Knight statues, and you can move Riding Hood anywhere you want. I believe a lot of these similar things, you probably could figure out the rest. If you play your deck, you probably know if this is good or bad or not. But I think it's nice to add a new option for an amulet to get, but it's now really bad because they also heavily changed the Amulet of Growth. Let's look at oh my goodness. Oy. The Amulet of Growth. So the Amulet of Growth is now affected by each wave in the sense that it decreases by 2% damage at the end of each round. Which means that you have to be constantly merging on those tiles in order for you to keep the same amount of damage. Which means that basically any deck that's able to consistently and continuously merge is still able to use the amulet and isn't really affected much. But any deck like, I don't know, let's say Cultist, now can't use Amulet of Growth unless it's in one of the 4 corners. Because if it's in the middle, you can't afford one whole Harbinger and lose all that DPS. I assume this applies to... Monk is still a merge deck, I would say. But even then, late game Monk will just lose its DPS. I would say a lot of late games where you get a board full of like max units, you're going to start losing a lot of DPS if you can't keep that one tile open. You also lose the option to, like, you'll go from basically 4 usable tiles down to 3 because you always have to keep one open. That's a big DPS decrease. And I'm definitely pissed on it because I spent a long time trying to get this specific thing to get the effect plus 10%, and now it's just kind of useless. It doesn't, I can't do anything with it anymore. So I got to get rid of that and get a new one. So, and I don't know how long it'll take. They also changed a lot of the new enchantments. I honestly was never a big component on like what enchantments does what. They reworked this. Pocket Exhaustion, which I think was just like a low level one, so nobody really went for it in the long run, so I'm not going to care too much about it. But I will cover the legendary upgrades, and as well as Astral. So, Brotherhood, legendary. So actually, Brotherhood Epic I think is important to go over first. If a faction unit receives a negative effect, the damage dealt by another unit... So yeah, the damage dealt by another unit of the same faction will be temporarily increased. Cannot activate several times in a row. Brotherhood, legendary. If a faction unit receives a negative effect, the damage dealt by all units of the same faction will be temporarily increased. Cannot activate a few times in a row. I don't really know what it means by a few times in a row. We'll see what that means. But this is not bad. Brotherhood is a pretty nice buff. It's definitely a combat against. They really combated against negative effects with these enchantments, and I'm actually pretty happy with them. Astral, which is epic. If a faction unit is about to lose a merge rank, it has a chance to be stunned instead of losing it. That's pretty nice. They really kind of tested that out with Fortuna's hero item with the rank protection. So this is just now you can now have it on one of your characters instead of just counterspell, which it's kinda it's arguably better and arguably worse than counterspell. Foundling 4, legendary. Killing a mini boss spawns a mini vortex, a weakened mini vortex. It's just as simple as that. Instead of spawning whatever random crap it would do normally, it now spawns a weakened mini vortex, which I believe is what the Foundling 3 does. Killing a mini boss, and this is killing a mini boss. Yep. So it's probably just an increased chance from the 3. And then spell doubling. Whenever a faction unit is absorbed or has its merge ranked reduced, okay, there is a small chance of summoning a unit of the first merge rank. This is just a straight up buff to Scrapper, who is already insanely strong, and it's just like every single Riding Hood deck is so happy right now. They are so happy to see that, but they're going to now have to spend a lot to try and get those correct things. So it's going to take them a long time. They also added the hammer. Every time you use a hammer to upgrade a heroic item, the hero's ability cooldown is reduced by 0.5%. I'm kind of fine with that, I think. I think it's probably just going to be built into here, like every time it upgrades. I don't know how they're going to specify between the difference. It's definitely going to make you want to use hammers, because, man, Fortuna with 20 seconds is going to be crazy. But the chance for successfully upgrading an item depends on the current upgrade level. The higher the item's level, the better the chance to upgrade. This concerns me because luck being a part of something you want to be consistent, like upgrading, is a bit concerning. You will receive hammers in the Hero Tavern, pay to win, during the special events, pay to win, and in the Legend Store, not pay to win. Well, kind of pay to win, because you still have to have good cards in order to kind of, be able to get there in the first place. Skill can play a part, but good cards are nice. So basically, the hammer is now just used to upgrade heroic items, which, cool, I guess, because now you'll not be stuck with a bunch of level 1 heroic items. I only just recently started getting to this rank, to 7k. I'm going to try to push for 8k to hopefully take advantage of one of the updates, which I'll mention in a second here. But yeah, we'll get to that. So hammers, I think they'll be interesting, and we'll see how it works. I'm kind of just mid on it, because since I am a whale, I'll definitely get a lot of them. But for for people who aren't, it will just stay definitely difficult to try and upgrade your hero. These previous updates definitely benefit the whales, which is a bit unfortunate. At least with the amulets and all these amulet upgrades and all these new enchantments, all this stuff. So all the stuff from this post right here, the items and enchantments, mainly good for whales. Sentry talents and archer talent, good for starters, great for starters. All these like unit changes to the earlier lower rarity units is great. That's great for everybody, in my opinion. But the items and enchantments, more for whales. Now, today had the most drastic and heavily impacting, I think, change announced possible. So, let's start. How do I get the most legendary units? Log in frequently. Actually, wait, what's going on here? Oh, it just posted it differently. Okay. So let's start here. Legendary changes. The current economy in the game had several weak spots we wanted to address. Players are currently forced to focus all their efforts on a single deck. Yeah, that's kind of how some of these things work, where you have to focus on a single deck to make it as good as possible. And that's if you really want to succeed. You can't spread it out to try and test many other things, but it kind of you kind of got to do this. You gotta hard focus. That's how a lot of games work, where you have to hard focus one main thing. Although it's possible to convert unused units into magic crystals, the process still consumes all resources. Okay, they kind of have a point there. It is quite expensive to upgrade units, and being limited to just one deck can make the game a bit bland and a bit boring. I will agree with them there. But we'll see why that's a bit of a problem and why that's a bit hypocritical later on. In order to upgrade a high-level unit, one would either have to wait to accumulate a large amount of magic crystals, or else wait for an unpredictable amount of time for the necessary legendary unit to drop. This is true. I 100% agree with this point to 100%. I 100% agree with it. It is a very true point and very annoying point. I actually even made a post about it in the official Discord about saying, I wish there was a more guaranteed way to get legendaries. And they definitely provided that. But we'll see. And then the Book of Secrets. Everybody knows what the Book of Secrets is. We all love the Book of Secrets because it is a 100% guaranteed way every basically 2 months to upgrade a single legendary unit once. And that could be very nice. That's how I maxed Boreas. That's how I maxed Cultist. That's how I maxed this guy right here. I forget. I'm Druid. That's how I'm going to max Night Statue. I've maxed a lot of them that way. I believe that's also how I've maxed Riding Hood. Was using that book to upgrade it once to get it to level 15. Very nice. Very, very nice. However, the Book of Secrets ends up being the only guaranteed way to level up the required legendary unit within a predictable time frame, but it can still take a while. So this means they want to really shorten it. So I do have high hopes, because I need to, that they will make it easier to upgrade legendaries. And so, as I say, as a result, we have identified a lack of predictability in the way that you, oh my goodness, I keep forgetting to click. In the way that you upgrade the legendary units and such. Oh, okay. The way that you upgrade the legendary units and such. And just want to, I don't know, make that clear that I'm very hopeful that they'll make it easier to get the legendary units you want. Because one thing I've been definitely struggling with is trying to max out my Witch, since Witch is pretty crucial in a lot of decks, especially a lot of decks that are going forward. All the following changes are made so that every player can have a definite answer to the question: where do I get the units I want? How long might it take to level it up? What can I do to speed up the process? However, their answer to these questions are as such. Leveling legendary units now requires only copies of the units. Okay, you won't need magic crystals. Now, you can, technically speaking, in theory, now, you do not need to wait for magic crystals. They did add magic crystals to the shop recently, but those are such a bad deal that it's actually absurd. So, in theory, let's just say you had an infinite money pool, you could technically, within a day, spend as much as you wanted and upgrade every single unit you wanted. There is now no limiting factor, and relatively speaking, it would be better priced. Magic crystals and rune keys are out of the game. They are gone. Rune keys were in case you forget what rune keys are, they are in the season 46, and you got them at level 50, and then as well as, where is it? Where is it? Level 10. And you get 3, and those were basically 3 free crystals because you would never use it for the 300 dust. That was the most pointless thing possible. Where is it? Yeah, right there. You never use it for the 300 dust. You'd always use it for the magic crystal. So they're just giving you magic crystal, or they're counting it as a magic crystal. When the new update releases, you will receive a compensation in your mail. So it's not specified here, but I saw somewhere else that it was specified that you will receive a choice legendary chest. So for every crystal you have, you will get 1 choice legendary chest that will give you whatever legendary you want in return. So 6 crystals would mean 6 choice legendaries. Now, if you have at least 1 page of secrets, you will receive a special one-time quest. One-time quest. Only happening once. Complete it in order to assemble a full single book of secrets. It's just that. You will be able to get a full book of secrets if you have at least 1 page. Seeing how they're basically trying to make you get rid of all your page of secrets, I think they're also getting rid of the book of secrets, which is a bit concerning because they also say you will no longer be able to obtain it in a regular way, which I assume that they're just going to wait for everybody to spend their book of secrets and then get rid of it from the game when they realize that there are no book of secrets left. Very concerning. Because I did like it. It was every 2 months you could upgrade anything, no matter what it was. Anything. You could upgrade anything. So I really hope they make up for that. If they do not make up for that, being able to upgrade anything however you want, we're in trouble. We are then adding summoning to the game. Summon the legendary unit you want using the new resource, Magic Bells. I really hope they just keep it simple, and 1 bell equals 1 summon, and then they just give you like that. I hope they don't make it like 10 bells and you get like an awkward, weird exchange rate. I hope it's just 1 to 1. Not like this weird, get 60 experiment coins. You could like, just keep it simple, like the magic crystals and like the freaking page of secrets and the rune keys. Like, goodness. But we'll see. Regular events have had an overhaul. All events will now have a single currency. That sentence right there is great. That will allow you to obtain, so the whole single currency is great for events. That means that you can participate in any of these 3 events. So I mean, if they also make it for the Dragon Rift event, then goodness, that's gonna. If they also make it for the Challenge of 7, holy, that would be a drastically amazing change. I don't think they will. I think they'll just keep it to the mirror match. Point being, now you can play the mirror match, Rush for Glory, or Royal Trials to get Zeus. That's what that really means. You can also do it, obviously, for the legendary units. Legendary units in here will become a lot easier to get, as you can get them 3 times as fast. However, now you need, I believe, 5 times as many copies, which I will explain right here. But I'll get to that in a second. The amount of experiment coins has been increased across the game. I mean, this laboratory of experiments will become so much more necessary now, and I really hope they increase it from 15% chance to succeed. Because right now, oh wow, it actually worked when I was trying to prove it wrong. Okay, that's awkward. Well, anyways, I guess it worked this time, but yeah. So it's a bit, usually though, it's not on the first experiment, it's throughout the entire thing, and you almost always have to spend all 300 coins to get the 1 legendary you want. And you really have to, it's still focusing on the same 5 units. I don't know, we'll see how that goes. But experiment coins have been increased, so you can now do this laboratory experience much more often than just like every something or every, I think, 3 days for 1 try. The amount of, yeah, I already read that. And so what does this all mean? You will find more legendary units across the entire game. Most importantly, in many cases, you will have a direct choice of which legendary unit you're going to receive. This is crucial. If this better be all cases. In all cases, you will have a direct choice of which legendary unit you're going to receive. Okay, if the almost all choices is just like this remaining the same, then that's fine. And then everything else is now a choice. But if like some things in here, like for instance, if these, where's the rune? There we go. If these like become a chance to get a 1 out of 2 situation, we're kind of screwed. With this being said, this infographic is important. So before, in order to go from wait a minute. Interesting. So actually this is very vague because if we look at it, if we know, so this is the first 3 upgrades is what this is what we're looking at. One, so we're focusing on Blade Dancer here. 1 Blade Dancer for the first upgrade to go from level 7 to level 8. You need 1 Blade Dancer copy and 1 crystal. If we look at the other side, you need 1 Blade Dancer, 1 Blade Dancer. Okay, that's still the same quantity. The other time, to go from 8 to 9, you actually need 1 Blade Dancer and 3 crystals. That is a total of 4 legendaries. But if you look at the other side, they very specifically put the exact amount of 1 Blade Dancer plus 2 more copies for a total of 3, which means that they're focusing on just the amount of crystals. And you just have to use 1 copy plus 2, which is weird. I don't really understand what they're doing here. But then for the next upgrade, they explicitly show, they took the time to put in exactly 6, because that's how many crystals you would need for the next one, but they only have 1 copy. So it's 7, which is different from the 8 you needed. So if I see this correctly, that means after this 8 one, you'll only need 9 for the rest of the upgrades. So actually, according to this infographic, I don't really get the same total quantity. That's a lie if it's based off of the infographic it's given. Because why did they? Because they specifically put 3 crystals, but they only put 2 Blade Dancers. So I don't really get what they're trying to convey here. But I think that's it. I think they're just going based off of the number of crystals needed is how many extra on top of the initial one. So you only need 10 for each of the upgrades instead of 12, which does save on some. So okay, I'll give them that. But still, it's going to cost a lot. I think that, okay, that makes me a little less mad, because initially I thought it was the same total quantity. It's not. But with that being said, it still is going to be a lot, and you'll still have to take a lot to try and get all those copies. Because currently, next update, I could have gotten this guy to level 13. Or like next season, I could have gotten him to level 13. I probably still will. I'll get him to level 13, and we'll see where it goes from there. But, like once, because what's it called? The season pass is going to reset before the update drops, unless they're going to drop it in a day and 6 hours from now. So tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see what they do. Anyways. But it's going to be a lot more difficult to focus, and they have to make everything a choice now. It has to be fully choice focused. So, with that being said, you now get all this stuff. And there's this weird thing that they mentioned, higher rewards and higher critical damage. I don't really get what that means. But we'll see. Okay, going back up to here, how do I get the most legendaries? Log in frequently. You get a ton of stuff from the logins now, I guess. And then conduct experience, and then complete your daily tasks. They also allow you to obtain magic bells. Okay, complete seasonal rewards. This is what I don't understand. They say complete seasonal rewards. So I assume they're going to, they also said they're getting rid of the crystals and the runes, and they're also adding in choice chests. So I don't really know what they're trying to do here, but it's a bit concerning. And then level up your division. We'll talk about more about divisions in later publications. I don't know what that means. Summoning is a new thing that they're doing, and I think this states it perfectly. So every 4 weeks, you get to choose a very specific faction, and then weekly, you select one of 2 legendary units that are like offered. So it's kind of like if you've ever played, it's like they're adding a gacha. They're adding a gacha system to this game. There wasn't really a gacha system to this game beforehand, but there is now. So that's concerning. Always a great thing to see a gacha system added. Totally not worrying. But they also say that guaranteed. So what this guaranteed at 30, 40, 50 is you have to summon, from what I read, from what I understood. You have to, right here. You are guaranteed to receive a featured legendary unit of your choice. So it's not a 50-50 like how it is in Genshin, if you've ever played Genshin before. You receive a featured legendary unit of your choice after 30. Then the next 40, so you have to 70 rolls to get 2 of the featured legendary units, and then the next 50 summons. I assume after 50 summons, it stays 50 summons. So it's just 30, 40, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50. So it's a bit questionable. I assume this also applies for the weekly faction thing. And then with the weekly faction thing, you quote unquote have a bit more of a choice. And this will the weekly faction is almost what you want to wait for if you're trying to upgrade anything that you can do with a weekly faction. So like for Magic, since I kind of want to get a Bruiser, I think a Meteor deck would be fun, and Witch is nice to have. So I would heavily focus on that Magic faction and probably roll then. And then for any cards you don't want from the Magic faction, you would have to use for the Laboratory of Experiments. That's what I think they're trying to go for. I really hope that they give a plentiful amount of Magic Bells. I hope that every week they give you enough to get that guaranteed 30. Because that's basically just one guaranteed legendary and maybe a second one. And with how many legendary copies you need for a specific unit now, it's very concerning, and that would need to happen. I think, so here we go. The events, I'm for the most part happy about. All events now have a single currency and a unified store. So when they say unified store, I believe that means that you can get all of the event specific units at any time during any of the 3 events. So you now don't have to wait 3 weeks to get Zeus. You can now get it every single week in every single different event store. There's also only one single currency. What I hope is that they convert all of your current currencies into a singular currency, because I have many different currencies for each of these events across all the different things. I also have a bunch of tickets, so if they're going to merge all these things together, I hope they keep the same amount of tickets as well and just create one solid ticket. If they don't, we got some problems. The equipment and hero levels in events will now be equalized in all events. This is a great change. Now, nobody will ever complain about, oh, their hero's too high level, or oh, their hero's not high enough level. I really hope they just make the heroes all max, and then they give you because a lot of the point of the Royal Trials was so that you could test out units you didn't have. So I really hope they kind of just give you the max heroes or whatever, and they'll also just give you the hero item, just so you can really kind of test out what the heroes do and how they work. So I hope that's a new change that they do officially. In addition, we have streamlined event progression and increased the amount of currency you receive. I hope this means it now won't take 3 years to get Zeus. And instead of 3 years, it will now take just 1 year or even less, which I think is a great change. I almost made a very long rant video about how long it takes to get those heroes, especially with how good they are. And if they make it easier to get, overall, I'd be happy with it. I feel bad for all the whales who wailed for that stuff, but overall, I think it's a nice change for the health of the game in the long run. since the whales already have it and they've played with it and they've gotten all the rewards that it's had to offer so far, and now they're going to have everybody slowly catch up to speed now. And yeah, I think just the most concerning part about this is they also say right here, season pass rewards will now contain chests allowing you to select a legendary unit. What this means is that this season pass, when it updates, it better have all the stuff. It better have all the bells and whistles. Okay? Or I'm just confused on how they're going to update the season pass. Because they'll have to update it before. So like this next season pass will be interesting to see what they do with it. Because it literally is done in a day. You know, and I was kind of hoping to max him out because I have enough stuff to get him to. I was kind of hoping for that, so we'll see what that does. But yeah, that's the majority of what is going on with this update. I think to kind of summarize all my rambling, the changes for leveling up legendaries after looking at this infographic again, it will cost less overall, but it will still take a long time, and unless they like match it somehow, I don't really know what they're going to do. They dropped a very detrimental, or not detrimental, but very impactful news without giving any specifics, which I have not liked. They also have yet to even post what the exact release date is, and everybody's just speculating because they usually release on a Monday, and they said mid-July, which would be in 6 days from now. If they mean mid-July, that's the 15th is the Monday. So literally after this next weekend is when the update should theoretically drop. They have not done a dev build yet, so they haven't tested out what the new unit would do. They probably will release that though on the 12th, because they usually do it about, I think, 3 days before then, so I can kind of hammer out anything. It's a bit concerning. I think like now it used to cost a total of 73 legendary cards in total, 18 specific and 55 random to upgrade fully max a legendary unit. But now with this new update, I believe it will cost two less, one less. So it will cost 8 less. So instead of 73, it will be 65. How did I just guess 65 in my head? I'm not good. Anyways, 65 units now. So it's technically cheaper. And seeing as how I have this guy at level 11, it would just overall be cheaper for me to just wait if they actually give a unit 1-to-1 conversion on the magic crystal. So we'll see how that works. But it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. And also, they made it sound like you can't get these pages in a regular way anymore, so I have no idea what they're going to replace these pages secrets with. Are they going to be a choice legendary? I don't know, because you just needed 6 pages for a upgrade of any unit. So in order to make it equal, these would have to be like literally 2 choice chests. 2 choice chests, and then down here, 1 choice chest, because you now need, it's from what this infographic's telling me, in order to upgrade from any level, you need a max of 10. So I really hope they give you a max of 10 random legendaries, or choice legendaries with these page. So then you get 5 extra choice chests per season from those pages. That would be the only way to make up. That would be one thing. Oh goodness, if you can't tell, I'm just stressed about this update, man. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens. So we'll see how it goes. But overall, I think after looking at this and seeing it, I think it actually will be cheaper. So that's gonna be a nice change. I probably will still go for all of this and try to get this as soon as possible so that I could make the most use out of the exchange thing that they said, where they're going to give you a choice chest for each crystal you have. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, if they end up giving more legendaries, I have zero qualms. But it's very concerning with this all these new legendaries. I think the most impactful thing will be how this legendary upgrade system works, and how they'll replace all the new legendary units that you need to now get, and see how that works. That will be definitely something interesting to see. And then the other thing is the new enchantments. Those will be different to grind for because a few of these are definitely worthy of getting. I think Brotherhood is a very nice thing to have, as that would make up for whatever lack of DPS you lose from getting hit with some random crap. Especially, this is definitely a good defense against toxic decks. So that'll be kind of interesting, but you now have to work for that. I think the nerf on the Amulet of Growth is quite detrimental with a decrease of 2%. Overall, I think it will be definitely a nice change of pace, though. The new Amulet of Swiftness, it has some pros. It has some very big pros with being a merging, absorbing, and increasing your rank. That's pretty nice. But the fact that points move when damage increases, so every time you like make this damage percentage increase, so merging, absorbing, or increasing your merge rank, they will move. Or at the end of the wave. So they'll always be moving, which is a bit concerning. Because definitely this is more of like it'll move a lot for a bunch of merges early game, and then it will kind of stay in one place. And as long as this follows the new rule of legendary amulets are guaranteed to receive a point in one of the 3 fields center tiles, as long as that stays the same, then I think we're good. But goodness, it will be worrisome. And also just the fact that they're now adding a new amulet and then they're nerfing an old one will change up so much. Like, I mean, all I got is the Amulet of Growth because it could basically be used as every amulet you'd ever want because it had the most damage. I mean, it needed to be nerfed in some way, but this way is questionable. We'll see how it works. Overall, I would say this update has the potential to either be very, very good or quitting worthy. The reason why is because just that upgrade, the legendary upgrade path now is not clear. They've mentioned a lot of things, and they said, and from this infographic, it should theoretically be cheaper. But the upgrade path for normal legendaries, not events, for normal legendaries is going to be very interesting, and we'll have to wait for more information to see if this update's going to be a good one or a quit the game one. And yeah, with that being said, that's kind of it for my little rant here. And I guess for now, we'll just, yeah, I'm going to grind for 8K because in theory, if I grind for 8K trophies, I should get the Page of Secrets, leading me at 4, and then seeing on what they'll do for this. I mean, if they change it if they just change it for the next update, then it doesn't really matter anyways. But if they don't change it tomorrow, basically, within a day, if they don't change what's in here and it stays the exact same for this next update, then I'll be able to get 2 Book of Secrets, which will make me a very happy camper. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, it's time to start grinding. So I'm going to go ahead and use a Genie deck because I really like this style of deck. I also like the way Fortuna acts with it because it just gives Genie such a big buff and damage and has made Genie really fun for me to play. So we're going to grind. Hopefully we can get to 8K, get that extra Page of Secrets, and go from there. Alrighty. Let's go ahead, just go full screen. But yeah, I'm definitely very worried for how the game will change after. From their initial statement, they said they wanted to make it more predictable and more, like, it sounded like they wanted to make it more easy. want to make it easier to get legendary units. So I really hope they either leave it at the same rate or better. But we will see. Alrighty, so I guess I could put a witch right here to buff these 3 tiles. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I could definitely go with the witch right here. This is a pretty good setup. Pretty good setup. So let's see. I wonder if I could go 2 witches. I could be able to. I might be able to. Yeah. Start merging some witches. Since I can, I'll just leave this kind of up here now. And it doesn't want to stay cool. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. There we go. Also, I don't plan on doing this regularly, but I also just hate typing, so this is half a way I can make up for not having to type and stuff. Do I roll the dice? Nope. I think the Amulet of Growth will still be decent for Genie because you'll almost always have a few tiles open that you could possibly merge onto, but it'll be interesting. I think in a case like this, it'll be bad because I would want to use all 4 of these tiles, but we'll see. Wait, so if I have one there, then I could place one here and get a diagonal that way. Place one here, get that. Place one here, get that. If I have 2 witches there, that would cover that whole side. And if I have this whole thing as a block, these would be fine. So I could even have just the plus here, and I think a 1 right there, and that would be fine. That would be fine. That would be fine. And that would be fine. This would be fine because it goes that way. This would, yeah. So I could be able to do it. We'll see. A little late on that, but we good. So I think I'm gonna leave this guy here since he probably already has quite a few. So, ooh, very nice. I have to merge this though because I just need it out. I need this guy gone, so nope, that did not work. I'll take that though, just to keep him up. Do that. Yeah, let's do that. Hope for a witch. Oh, very nice. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, very nice, very nice. I did like that. I'll probably keep this guy on the board. So let's leave those 2 guys for now. Now let's go ahead and... Actually, no, let's leave this guy because this guy has nothing. Okay, I'm not a huge fan of the government. I'm kidding. Am I? I don't know, the song just got stuck in my head. Let's see. I definitely am not a huge fan of the level 3 witch right there, but... Nope. and just start merging some of that too. Get it a little out of the way. Let's merge you there. Okay, that's a... Oh, do I want to do that? Yeah. Ooh, very nice. Okay. What do I do with this information? I think I definitely want to level this guy up and merge him there. So... something like this, if I get a Harley Quinn, I can just kind of merge it out then. Boom. He did. Should probably get this back up and active. Let's see. Where can I? Let's do that. See if that gets us any good. Nope. Do that. Yeah, there we go. Let's go ahead and do this as well. Doesn't hurt to get the train rolling, I guess. Let's do that. Keep you there now, I guess. I could merge that in, but you're... Oh. Heh, silly me. Okay, glad to see that that guy's max. Let's go ahead and do something like this. I need to merge out this guy and get rid of this guy. So, there we go. Promising? No. That guy's gone. Cool, cool, cool. And so is this guy. 2 birds with 1 stone. Very nice. Let's merge this guy out. Leave you there. Unfortunate? Nope. We're good. We're saved. So there we go. We're almost done with all the merges. I think I'm actually going to do this and hope for the best. Cool. I hoped and I received. Okay. Let's go ahead. I think I'm going to start heavily focusing on getting ranks now of this guy. So... I'll take it though. I think that was 2 on him. Oh no. I'll do this. I don't need to press the button right away. Oh, I mean I can. Totally can. What I'm saying. It'll recharge by the time I get the other guy back. Okay, please. Which? Can be which? Will it be which? No idea. But it can be. Okay, we're done with that. Oh, no, it's not which. Ooh, that's not great. I want to throw you on there so I can at least get the points for it. Okay, let's merge some of these witches in here. There we go. Very nice. Very, very nice. Falling behind here though, so I need to... What do I need to do? I need to get you there, you there. You need to get out. So... Cool. Very nice. Nice cleanse. Nice cleanse save there. Let's Go ahead and merge you out. Let's hopefully get a witch. There we go. Nice. Ooh, very nice save. Okay, you're done. You're done. Okay, that guy, yeah, he can stay there for now. Let's merge you. I think that's done. Cool, cool, cool. Ooh, that's not good. Okay, so that didn't clear, so that's not great. Oh, I'm out, that's why. Well, crap, that doesn't work. This could, though. It did not. Yep, I lose. Cool. Well, that was pathetic on my end. I am using that, yeah. That was just bad on my end. You know what? I'm a bit riled up. I think that's why I'm playing bad. Anyways, I think that's just gonna be it. Me losing.